All right, welcome back to Game Over Cancer. Of course, proud sponsor of Canadian Cancer Society. And did you know that we are about to experience a game not just with guns, not just with graves, but Gungrave smashed together. And it's not just any kind of run, it is any percent emulator. And we have the one and only TempestMask1000 about to run this. But before I pass it off, I do have something exciting to say, and that is we got a donation from Hepinwana, which was our previous runner. They donated $25 saying, thanks for having me for Stray. Their donation goes towards saving Sid. And for those that don't know, there's this whole save Sid, kill Sid thing going on. I'm all about killing Sid. I don't know what the runners are about, or the runner, sorry, and the commentator, but they can decide and tell you in a second. But here we go. Gungrave, TempestMask1000, take it away.
Thank you very much, Cousin Catnip, and welcome to, indeed, one of the coolest games around, released for the PlayStation 2. Hello, friends and fellow gamers, I'm TempestMask1000, some of you know me as Steve, and this is Gungrave. This was a game that was made by Red Entertainment, and had character designs by Yasuhiro Naitao, who you might recognize as the creator and mangaka of Trigun, as well as Blood Blockade Battlefront, and the series has been something of a cult classic to quite a few gamers indeed. It's really cool, and well, I'm looking forward to showcasing it off for you guys. It's worth mentioning that Game Over Cancer did feature the newest entry of the series last time, and that runner is actually joining me for commentary. So Zero, if you could introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Zero Blade Edge, and I run all the Gungrave games. Yeah, like Steve said, last year I ran Gungrave Gore Vanilla, and today we just got the release of Gungrave Gore UEE, so it's a great day to run Gungrave.
I absolutely agree. It's one of the finest coincidences, if I do say so myself. We'll talk more about that, though, in passing as we go through this game. I'm just going to quickly showcase a few options, though, and that being... We're going to go quickly into the game config. I set this to the easy difficulty, and we'll explain what that does soon. Other than that, I'll go to key config, and the only difference here is that I set my run button to the right shoulder, and the coffin button to my B button, and that's about all we need to go over. So, time will begin once I select New Game, and that'll be in 3, 2, 1, Gungrave. Alright, so this game basically takes off of the sort of arcade shoot-'em-up style stuff. It's a third-person game. You kind of sort of got tank controls, but it's all about just trying to really mess up a certain group of enemies in order to make this game progress. So I'm going to target specific enemies, and I'm going to use the lock-on feature to help me with that here and there. But other than that, Gungrave, or rather Grave Beyond the Grave, full character name, and yes, this is canon, he's all about just being very, very tough in the face of danger. And so what you're going to notice is that when it looks like I should be taking damage, my blue bar is actually going down. That is my shield bar. Once that is fully empty, though, my life will start to take hits, and I want to start being a little careful. Luckily, the game does have a little feature called Demolition Points. These are both for my demolition shots, which are basically super moves, but on the pause menu, in this game specifically, I can use one to recover my life. So if I'm ever in a little bit of danger and I have some to spare, I will do so. Otherwise, as I mentioned, I just need to take care of certain enemies in order to progress through this stage as fast as I can. And for this rooftop, for example, I'm going to take care of those 3 buff guys. Like so. You'll notice that when I stand in place and I'm firing for a while, Grave goes into what we call burst mode, which allows the shots to fire even faster and a little more consistently, and I want to use that whenever I most certainly can. Like so. To take care of this guy, that was Mickey. He wore a Superfly suit, and now he's down in style.
Yeah, so the reason that Steve is able to play on easy mode is he's playing the Japanese version. In the US version, this game only came with normal and hard, but for some reason, the Japanese version has easy, normal, hard, so it's preferred to play on the Japanese version.
And the only difference that the difficulties do for you is it actually changes how much damage Grave takes. Otherwise, the game practically plays out the same, so it's actually a very easy to get into game for that very reason. I actually really appreciate that design mentality too. Like, this game really holds up nicely even to this day.
Yeah, so now Steve's caught in a forced fight. Pretty much we have to kill all of the encounters, or all of the enemies in the room, that it will spawn for us, enough to let us through the door. Pretty easy peasy. So we're just waiting for that. We'll see a symbol in the back right of this room. There it is, or at the top of the screen too. It says go. It's like an arcade game. You just go and you go on to the next section.
So one of the big things about any percent emulator that makes it its own category as compared to the standard any percent is that the PS2 version of the game, if you play on it, oh come on, really? I was hoping not to get that as I hate it when that happens. All right, no worries. But as I was about to say, on the original hardware, there is lag that can indeed happen within the game. So with an emulator like PCSX2, that is completely a non-issue, and so it was decided among the community that we're just going to have it be its own category, and there's actually only 2 runners of that, myself and Fire Bodu, so I figured when I wanted to pick up this game as a speed run, it only made sense considering at the moment I don't really have a PS2, and sadly this game has not seen any modern re-releases. The sequel, though, Overdose, surprisingly did, but I believe the only version that you can get is European, and it's on a PS3 digital store as a PS Classic. Not sure why they took down the US version. Unfortunate to say.
Or you could just be like me and own 3 copies of the US version and one of the Japanese version.
There you go.
Well, see, because, you know, you move, and then you lose one, so you buy another one, and then something else happens, and you lose that second one, then you find them all.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, hey, if you're...
Now Steve's...
Go ahead.
I don't know why I own that many copies. So now you'll see a different kind of force fight room. Steve had to blow up a computer just to walk through a door. It made no sense. Pretty much anything in this game doesn't really make sense. The only, like, real story beat of it is, this is Beyond the Grave. He was branded heat. He got killed by his best friend, and now he's out for vengeance. And he's back to life. That's about all you really need to know to understand this game.
Yeah, pretty much. So right
and
now,
it was a video game first, and then a manga, then an anime.
That's correct, actually. Or I do believe it was anime second and then manga third. I might have to ask Cosmic on that one.
I'm sure he'll yell at me later.
Shout out to D Cosmic. He is also a speedrunner of the game, and you might also know him for games like Devil May Cry and all those amazing stylish stuff out there.
So demolition shots are a thing in this game too.
Very much so.
You just saw him use the level 1, pretty
level
much
2,
as I call it, level 2. He just unlocked Hellhound Roar, which is level 3. You'll get these pretty much throughout the story. Don't worry about it. All you need to know is that one. I call that one Spin to Win.
It's a very beautiful art indeed. The funny thing about the demolition shots in this game is that they may have different names, but the only 2 types you see are rocket launcher and spin to win. And
yeah,
the Hellhound Roar is actually the upgraded version of the rocket launcher, which in itself is actually a reference to, I believe it's Desperados, the popular film, where a guy literally shoots a rocket out of a guitar case. Graves also doing the very same pose from that as well.
Yeah. So the reason he's jumping upstairs real quick is Grave goes slower up the stairs. So in true shooting type game fashion, like stair skating, we do stair jumping. Stair jumping. I can talk.
It makes sense. I mean, English is a little hard, but it still makes sense.
Yeah. So pretty much this stage is he's just running through. You'll see under his health and shield bar, we haven't discussed this yet, is this beat counter. A beat counter every 50, I believe it is in this game, you get another charge to your demolition gauge, and you can hold up to 9 full.
Yeah, it does. It's the beat counter does give you your first demolition points at 20, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
But it goes up in certain increments that, admittedly, I have not kept track of. But yes,
I used to know. I have not ran this game in a long time. It made me mad going for sub 30, so I quit for a while.
Hey, that's totally understandable. Sometimes when you get to a point where you're really at, like, a top level of the speedrun itself, it's hard to really cut it down, and it can be for multiple reasons. Like, the world record of the any % category is 26 minutes, and has maintained that for at least 4 years. It's easy to see why, though.
And one out of the current, what, 3, 4 of us that actually run the game has gotten sub 30, and that's Cosmic.
That's right, yeah,
And
Cosmic really has put a lot of
I'm still
effort
chipping
into this.
away at it in time. So this is the Final Fantasy 13 hallway. Pretty much he's just going to run to the end. And then we're going to go fight the first part of the boss. Or the first wave, or the last wave before the boss.
Hey, while you're doing the hallway, can I read a donation?
Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely,
He's
yeah.
just doing shooty shoots right now, so it's fine.
Hey, that's what we're here for. We actually got an $85 donation from the Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide community.
Heck yeah.
Let's go.
What? Wait,
Yeah, 85 bucks
85?
from Worlds Collide community to kill Sid. Let's go. They want to kill Sid with me. Let's do it. Hope that doesn't make the bid war tied or anything.
I have the incentives list right here.
Yeah, they want to do it. They're down to make this an interesting bid war. So let's.
So you
let's
said
do
that was 85 to kill?
it. Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's tied. As soon as I did the math, it updated.
Go
Oh, they
figure.
knew what they were doing. So yeah, let's make this interesting. You got to change it up, chat. It's on you.
I was like, wait, what? Was that a vast room? No, there was one more guy in there. Alright, there we go. Here's a little harpsichord. And now we go back to action. So, this guy is the first member of the enemy organization Millennium. This is Bob Poundmax, and he is the first instance of a boss that will have 2 forms. The first being his human form, which goes down very easy, and then we'll be jumping right into phase 2, which is his superior form. And
His
there's
Willy
a-
Wonka form. Get it right.
Oh, what? You call it that? I mean, I guess I can understand why. He's kind of like, what, Augustus Gloop and Violeta? Or Violet or whoever, whatever her name
No,
is?
he's turning violet.
I should have seen that one coming.
It's my split name. That's the only reason I remember that joke.
You know what? Fair enough. It's like how I call the intro boss of Mega Man Extreme 2 Mega Skeletor. Alright, but yeah, basically I'm just trying to rail down on him while also trying to keep in mind what attacks he's going to do. Because there are certain attacks that actually will knock down Grave and you will lose time for it, especially if it involves something that explodes.
Yeah. Pretty much anything that can just knock Grave down is explosions, rockets, and that's pretty much it. So this is the worst stage in the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can probably agree with you there. It's got a lot going for it, but I wouldn't necessarily say there's a lot of things bad with the levels of this game. It's actually funny because there are a total of 6 stages in this entire experience. It's very short. In fact, it is the shortest of the Gungrave games. You could say that they got longer as time went on, but perhaps not for the best of reasons, if I had to be perfectly brutally honest.
So this one's around 30 minutes. The second one is about an hour and 10, 15 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, basically.
And then Gungrave Gore comes out, and the New Game Plus run before the Gore mode unlock was 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
And that's with New Game Plus.
There's quite a bit. Studio Iggy Mob, the developers of Gore, really must have felt that, you know, with how easily you could beat Gungrave games, perhaps they felt, come on, Grave, thank you, that there wasn't a whole lot of experience to be had. But I would beg to disagree, although I would say their intentions were well-intended, and I wouldn't necessarily say it was the worst thing in the world.
Oh no, it's an amazing game. I am not mad about the length of it at all. Also, jumps are random. At least I think they are.
Yeah, it's weird.
You can be holding forward and he'll either jump when you want to dodge or dodge when you want to jump over something.
Normally, jumps are consistent when you are moving and holding a direction, but the really high jumps, which, what? No! Bruh! That was rude. Okay, sorry. The really high jumps are technically what the Speed Demo Archives notes refer to as neutral jumps, which, yes, this game actually does have a Speed Demo Archives page to it, and it's really nice to look at.
It's how we found one of the best texts in the game that we never would have known about.
It's true. Now, why did this door not open yet? Is it that guy? Okay, that was a little bit awkward. Unfortunately, I'm losing. I lost a little bit of time for that. There we go. So, the bullet dance that I had tried to position in there was supposed to spawn the next wave of enemies and then eventually lead me to opening the way out, but, yeah. Also, I didn't have to kill those enemies, but if I wasn't too careful, they could have easily wiped my health out. It's pretty surprising to know how fast Grave's health. I almost called him Gungrave. That's stupid. It's easy. It's not that tough to see why you can lose a lot of health in the span of mere moments if you're not too careful. But of course, we are speedrunners. We are trying to throw a little bit of caution into the wind all the while. And even if you do die, it's not the worst thing. You just spawn at the very beginning of the room, and that's about it.
Yeah, I tried to route this game on hard. Key emphasis on the word tried.
There's actually an extra difficulty to this game as well, specific to the North American version called Kick-Ass.
Yeah, and Kick-Ass is also an Overdose, and it's not... In Overdose, it's not that bad. I've played it several times. It's actually my preferred difficulty. I just haven't done any runs on it yet. Gore, on the other hand, if you die, you start at the beginning of the game, or the beginning of the level.
Yeah, Gore difficulty, basically no checkpoints on hard difficulty. That's,
so,
it's
now, these guys are going to fly up on, they're going to be riding missiles, which is something I wish I could do.
I think anyone wishes they could do that with style.
Yeah, so we're going to switch to the Hellhound Roar to fire 3 rockets and pretty much just keep moving. And then we're going to be coming up on the boss after this one, Ballard Bird Lee.
He's the one Millennium Organization member who does not have a human fight form, basically.
Yeah.
We're going to go straight to Superior.
But he's also the best designed boss, look-wise, in this game.
So one thing I got to be very careful about with Lee is this charge attack right here. Oh gosh, that was close. I dodged a little too early, admittedly.
So while Steve is fighting this fight, I want you to keep an eye on the skull in the top left corner. Yeah, that's the move he wanted to dodge. So now he's going to use that recover life to get some shield and some health back. And we're, like I said, keep watching that skull in the top left corner. At a certain point, it's going to start glowing. And then he's able to hit, I think it's square and triangle.
It's actually just the Y button, like that, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it's a quick kill. We call that the Raging Demon in the community because it instantly kills the boss. And we can just move on from there.
In actuality, it's a cutscene skip because we're pressing a button to skip the special demolition shot that the game would normally have you do. So the whole point is that when there's like a smidge of boss health left and you see the skull icon start to glow blue, the next demolition shot you do, no matter what it is, will have that fancy little animation, and I highly implore you all to check it out. I myself will be skipping all of them for all intents and purposes of just going fast, but it's all good because, let me assure you, the cutscenes are readily available to watch on YouTube or whatever else people post to these days. And, yeah, like I said, they're just amazing. And it's got the main theme playing in the background, too, which, I love that theme so much. It's a shame
it's a good song.
It's a shame that it doesn't appear in Gore, so, you know.
But I lied. This is the worst stage of the game. The subway is the second worst stage. Because if you fall off here, your run is over. There's no recovering. You're losing at least 30 seconds to a minute, depending on how far up you fall.
I'm going to try and take this a little carefully, but I am going to play slightly risky just because I do want to try and at least show off what it is we do. So here we go. Oh, yeah.
That's one. The hard one's coming up now.
That's right. First and foremost,
That-
though, I gotta be very careful. I'm gonna swipe here, and thank goodness, if I killed that third guy, more enemies were gonna spawn, and that would have made this room a lot more of a pain. Oh yeah, okay. Oh,
So
let's go.
this is the stage where you kind of see the difference between a console run and the emulator run you're seeing now. That spin he did on those two enemies would have pretty much put the game to a halt. If you want lag, circle is your best button to do so. It stops everything no matter what's going on. And now we get an auto scroller, so if there's anything that needs to be talked about.
Oh, I mean, of course, the whole event, Game Over Cancer, Canadian Cancer Society. We still have this tie that we need to break for Save Sid, Kill Sid. What do you want to see? Do you want to see Save Sid or Kill Sid?
Now this is FF6, right?
Yes, it's actually Worlds Collide, which is like a...
Yeah. I want to save Sid just because it's Sid.
Yeah, people have a huge attachment to him, so I totally understand.
Well, I'm now playing through all of the classic ones that I missed. So I finished 2 and 3, and now I'm playing 5 for the first time.
Oh,
I've already played 4.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of attached to Sid in 5.
I share that sentiment myself, yeah.
I like the story arc of him in 5, so I want to save him in this one. Because we all know Sid is a multi-dimensional being, and that's why he's in every Final Fantasy game.
I like your theory. I like that one.
Like Sid from 5 is Sid from 7. He's like Sora in Battle of the Goofy. He changes from world to world that he's in.
Oh my god,
and then in
man.
7, he's just, we don't talk about how.
I like Sid in 7.
No, yeah, he just gets, you know.
Well, I mean, if you time traveled that much.
It's true. And then he becomes Robin Williams, so yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my lord. You're talking about 12, aren't you?
I was talking about 8, funny enough.
When he's the Garden Master.
Oh god.
The Garden Master looks at. I'm upset now. I've never put that
I
together.
ruined it for you, yes.
8 is the one that I speedrun, and you ruined it for
Let's
me.
go.
Oh, I forgot you speedrun 8. All right,
7
so
and 9, but not 8.
we're coming up to the boss of this stage, which is Bear Walken, and he is going to return to the whole 2 phases. One's going to be not so much a human form, though, but more like a semi-superior form. And what he's going to try and do is he's going to use these different gun arms at us. The good news is that we can actually shoot those. We can target those, and if they take enough damage, well, they break one by one. So, like with Lee, I have to be very careful to avoid his charge move, because if I get caught, it'll do an even longer animation, and that's no good. So,
You'll also see that when he dodges to the left and the right and keeps shooting, you're doing more damage than just standing around,
and
waiting for the charge to happen.
Yeah, and part of the reason the dodge can be so effective as well is that Grave continues to fire bullets until he lands. And so like if you fall down from the vertical climb that we experienced at the beginning of the stage, you can actually see it for yourself if you intentionally do so with a dive shot.
Yeah, so this version of Bear Be Walkin', he is on one wheel, and he's a giant fist. That's it.
It's a very weird design, and it could also be casually annoying. When I first played this game and did like an entire casual playthrough, I had trouble with him like the most, I would say. But I recently realized that his charge attack can be parried with your coffin attack, but the only downside is it does prevent him from taking damage until he gets up. So I am purposely avoiding that here. And once again, once we get his health to a certain point, we'll initiate our special demolition shot and then perform our raging demon technique. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Street Fighter 6, which has been doing a spectacular job from what I've heard, and it looks amazing. Chef's kiss all around.
As a Capcom fan, I didn't buy it.
Ah, damn.
I bought Mortal Kombat 1.
Oh, I did too, actually. I got the premium.
I did too.
Yeah.
Oh, Fuji!
All right, here's everyone's favorite guy. He's actually playable in Gungrave Gore. Check out that run if you haven't.
This is Uncle Boonji, and he is mean. Right now he's being very nice. He'll just circle around, you chase him around. That's it.
I'm actually going to end him normally because while you can use a special demolition shot on him, I actually wanted to get a little more beat points to my demolition meter so that I can have some stuff to work with as we get into the real level here.
Would you believe we're already on the final level of the game? Catnip.
You most certainly are.
Yeah, I'm here in disbelief.
22 minutes in, and we're already at the end of the game.
Is it gonna be like Metal Slug 3 and it just never ends? The final
This
level.
is the game that never ends. Sorry, I didn't mean to ruin your ears. So now we're in heaven. We are now in heaven. So please don't fall off, Steve.
I'm going to do my best. The good news is that I don't instantly die if I do. But you notice that little centerpiece diamond figure shape, whatever the heck, which I'm going to destroying certain enemies will activate them and then allow me to activate staircases from them. But the ones in the center portions of some platforms, those are kind of like checkpoints where if I fall off, I will get sent back to whatever one I was last using.
Yeah. So the thing that that was just spitting out enemies over there, that is a spawner, and you want to take care of those as soon as possible in most situations, because you do not want to like a bunch of these blade guys running around, because they can be difficult to hit if they just keep running around.
You're probably wondering how I do the 180 turn, by the way. That's the L2 button, or in my case, the left trigger. It is a very useful trick. What?
I have tragic news. We got $5 to kill Sid from Omega and Tinkdora. But they did say they're loving the runs. And they want to thank you for all the staff, the runners, the commentators, and the hosts, and everyone.
Am I allowed to body slam this person for being wrong?
You can do so in terms of donating if you have to.
Do it. Show them that they're wrong.
Oh, I will. You just wait.
Thank you.
I do have a quick question, actually. Did we meet the minimalist incentive for Gravity Circuit tomorrow?
We are at 120 of $200 for that.
Guys, can I please recommend that you try to help meet that incentive? My buddy Eternal Red Gamer, who's actually watching this right now, would be very intrigued to make that happen, and we are almost there. It's trust me, it's actually really nice.
Oh, they'll do it. They'll do it.
I believe we can. I just certainly want to tell you all that, you know, I'm actually going to be doing comms for that run too, and I most certainly would love to see, because it's actually the first category that I did just to become a speedrunner to that game, period, and it's actually real.
I still haven't beaten that game.
Take as much time as you need, man. Oops. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do.
Because, you know, everything's coming out at once.
Yeah, we just had Sonic Superstars come out, and I also got that game, wouldn't you know it. And then I put in my pre-order for Super Mario Brothers Wonder. That's coming out in 2 days.
Actually, I don't think anything of mine comes out till next month and then February, so I'm good.
Okay, so these guys,
the gun guys,
the
yeah.
worst.
If you do not catch them walking up like this, you're gonna lose time, because they will literally sit there with their 6 arms and just cover their face.
Is the worst. The worst type of the enemy within the game, folks. By the way, you're probably wondering what's the whole change in pace behind the design of these foes anyhow? Well, these are called Orgmen. We get a proper name for them in the second game, Overdose, but this is their introduction here in Stage 6. And it turns out that Millennium has been using this little drug called Seed, which just so happens to be an alien substance. And, yeah, it's a bit of a common theme within the franchise, actually. It's a very common presence throughout just about each of the games, really.
I can't speak for Gungrave VR, but
that's true. There are a couple of VR games which canonically take place before Gore, And they are still available to play if you have PSVR or if you there's a Steam version as well. So those games were actually the first multi-platform Gungrave games to exist, which is actually not as bad as it sounds. It's just that, you know, it is VR, and you do need certain tech for that. Funnily enough, Iggy Mob was the developer for both of those titles as well, and I do believe that they got, I believe it was Kerry Walgreen and Kirk Thornton, voices of Grave and Mika from the anime adaptation's English dub, to reprise their roles for whatever dialogue there was in those games.
So this is Big Daddy. Big Daddy is phase 1 of our final boss, and he can do the sweeping punch, he can breathe fire, he can punch you, or he can machine gun you. We kind of just want to see him machine gun because we can just move around that and just do damage.
Here's a little thing to note, by the way. When I'm on a lock-on state and you're seeing me move and shoot while locked on, if you hold the run button, Grave actually does move faster. So despite the fact that it might not look like it would make a difference, it does. Same can be said for neutral jumping. If you're holding the run button, that also goes faster. Which, that neutral jumping, so like the name implies, you just don't move in a direction, you press jump, and then you can choose what direction to go in. But also, the game has a little automatic process that has Grave vault over whatever obstacles are in front of him, and that's how I've been mostly doing it throughout this run.
You will see it on this final boss. The lock-on run mechanic is where it really pays off.
Well, presumably anyway. I don't quite know how to do it, so you're going to see this boss a lot. If the fight really goes well, most runners usually just do it in a way where you never see this guy's face at all, until the very end.
It's just run, back, and shoot. Lock on, run, back, and shoot.
So this is the alien face, and yeah, they just dropped the naming at this point. They just go alien face. It's the final boss, you know, and I guess it's fitting considering this guy is... well, pretty much an eldritch abomination in every sense of the word.
This is why you don't do seed, kids.
No, sir. But I will say this boss also has the most health within any boss of the game. And each of the eyes also are breakable, which is good because one attack I want to try and be very mindful of is if you start to see a little lock-on laser, as it'll then shoot an explosive eye at Grave if it notices me. By the way, time is coming soon. It's not on the final hit, but it'll be once you hear a gunshot in the last cutscene, I'll be sure to cue you into it.
Yeah, he can also shoot humans out of his face and make them bombs. So that's fun.
Yeah, kind of like Bob, actually. It's basically this kind of this whole
there it is.
Thing. All right. Okay, we got our demolition shot in, and time will be coming up after I shoot Harry by pressing the fire button once he's done talking. So get ready.
I apologize for my dogs. I guess my mom's finally home from vacation. Time. Yeah, time. 30-50. You know, I am astounded.
What a fantastic run, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's not just a fantastic run. That's a PB by, like, 7 minutes.
Yeah, 7 minutes and 16 seconds.
I was gonna say, you're, like, almost 10 minutes under. Like, yeah, wow.
So, allow me to explain. The previous showings that I've done of this game with this category at an event, yeah, those were around the time when I was still starting the run, and I still had quite a bit of rust on me. But with Game Over Cancer, I made sure to give myself enough time to practice and make sure that I could put as much effort as I could into this, and oh lord, the practice runs just got smaller and smaller. This, without a doubt, was some of the best luck I could have, just completely avoiding falling down in stage 5, avoiding any falls in stage 6. This was just spectacular, and this is going to be a little bit harder to beat, but I can certainly think of a few ways that I can, and Oh, I'm just very happy with this performance today. Like, this was great.
Good job.
Yeah, just a fantastic. You kind of sold me on the game. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of want to check out these games now. They seem really cool.
Please do.
Well, if you
yeah.
have a Switch, as of
do.
today, you can play Gungrave Gore with all new DLC and more characters coming out later this year. As of today, you can get the collector's edition and get everything all ready to go when it releases.
Well, there we go. So, sales pitch complete. You have sold me on this.
Iggy Mob, I will take my check in the mail and donate it to Game Over Cancer.
There we go.
Actually, I want to give a quick shout out to Iggy Mob. They did like my little promotional tweet earlier in the day. I mean, I did give them a mention, but the fact that they still gave it a like, I very much appreciate that. Thank you guys for trying to bring back Gungrave and just trying to put as much care as you possibly can into making the game more and more solid of an experience. Like, I very much appreciate that coming out of a dev.
Gungrave Gore now is almost totally a different game compared to Gore Day One, and so they have done a tremendous job.
But with that in
Like,
mind,
they
That's great to know. Yeah.
you know, with like we could just go on and on about some of the cool things that have happened since, but I think we'll let you all experience it for yourselves. Honestly, I do want to give a few shout outs though before we get going, because I know we still got Worlds Collide coming up, and I don't necessarily want to keep us waiting for too long, but I do want to give a shout out to the Gungrave speedrunning community, and if you want to check out our Discord, the link can be found in any of the Gungrave game leaderboards we have on speedrun.com. Feel free to come see us, especially if you would like to learn any of the runs. We'd be happy to teach you just about anything that you need to know, and we're constantly looking into things that involve just whatever's coming out, and, you know, especially now the case with the new Ultimate Enhanced Edition. It's a fun time. And Zero, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it, man.
Not a problem. Will I get banned and outed if I post the speedrun link real quick?
It sounds like people are interested. Then go over it, I guess.
Don't
There you go.
don't
It's
get
already
me.
happened. It's
Okay, I didn't want a bot to get me. That's happened so many times in my life.
But
Going
yeah,
out to the grave.
Zero, if you'd like these wonderful people to check out the stuff you're doing, where can they find you?
I'm over on that Twitch channel. Check the chat. I'm on that Twitch channel. You can come over and see me do Gungrave, Mega Man, all kinds of stuff.
And if you guys would like to check
Let's
me
go.
out, I'm TempestMask1000 on Twitch, YouTube. I also have a Twitter at it's TempestSteve and a Blue Sky profile at TempestMask. Feel free to check me out on either of those last two if you want to see when I'm trying to stream, because I do not have a very static schedule going. But yes, thank you, Game Over Cancer, for having me. I always appreciate helping the fight against cancer as someone who's had multiple family members had to fight this nefarious disease, and some of whom I still miss to this very day. So let's keep raising on as much money as we can. And like I said, I'll be here tomorrow with Eternal Red Gamer for Gravity Circuit, which will be the final run of that day. But other than that, shout out to Strizer, shout out to you all, wonderful people. And until we next meet, this is Tempest signing out. Ciao, amici.
Bye.
Yes, thank you, Tempest. I'm Cousin Catnip. For those wondering, this will be my last hosting part of today, but I also will be back on Saturday, or a different day Saturday. So thank you so much, Tempest, for having me, for Gungrave and everyone else today. And I'm still in chat. I'm still gonna see what happens with the bid war. So we'll Sid get saved, we'll Sid get killed. We'll have to find out. But thank you so much, everyone.